Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 12:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. Just want to make sure everyone understands this is not financial advice. It's educational only. There are predictions in here relative to my entry points in this particular video. Any one of these videos that I put out, please note that, there are inaccuracies from time to time, as well as, my risk profile being different than yours. So please trade at your own risk and seek out financial advice and do your own due diligence. Intraday updates are on the Twitter link below this video in the description. If you want to subscribe, in Twitter, I basically blast off what I'm planning to enter and exit, as well as any major market moves. And if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos, feel free to subscribe. I do one of these a day for the graph, and may up the ante in the future. But for now, let's take a look at the allocations that I've got. My current positions in US dollars is 0 right now. So 100% of what I have slated for the graph is sitting in US dollars. There are entry points, and I'm not sure, if these hit. And I have to continually reevaluate this, especially on my first entry point, because things do change, and during calm market conditions I can spend time to reflect more on these entry points. But condition number one is that the strength of the graph relative to Bitcoin, which is GRT BTC, which is over here, would go below 2,700. Right now it's at 2,795. Okay, so taking a look at GRT BTC, this is the strength of the graph relative to Bitcoin. It's been consolidating here now, bouncing off this line for quite some time, which is great. Upon further inspection, seems to be a downward wedge here, which could be bullish, meaning on the back of this, it could start shooting up north. Hard to say at this point. That's this descending trend. Really, I'm expecting it to continue on this downward trend. And 2,700, which is right about here, is where I think would be a special opportunity for me to get involved in a meaningful amount, 20%. So that's how I'm thinking of the graph relative to Bitcoin, and I will then buy whatever the graph US dollar is at that point. Remember, the graph to US dollar chart, the one that all of us are familiar with if you have Coinbase, the one that we buy and sell in dollars is this particular chart. This to me is a good point. Like, this is what you're buying the graph at in dollars. That being said, this chart is really, the action on this chart is driven by the strength of the graph relative to Bitcoin and the underlying Bitcoin price itself. And it's important that everyone understands that. So going back to my scenarios, if GRT BTC, or the graph relative to Bitcoin, crosses below 2,700, because right now it's at 28 and change, or close to 28, then I'll go in and buy whatever the US dollar equivalent is for the graph. I'll put 20% on that. Or if the second condition happens, which is Bitcoin hitting 41,000 and the graph strength to Bitcoin is less than 2,800, I will buy the graph at that point as well, because I think it's a great entry point too. Bitcoin hitting 41,000, I feel like, is in what I consider the max pain area. And if we look here, this chart I've done over a month ago, and as you can see, there's like a waterfall action here. It kind of bounced down here into the first support, which was between 45 and 47K. It bounced down again. It's like a waterfall. Boom, boom. I think we have another leg down. 41,000, 40 to 41,000. I'm expecting to be max pain. Others from other firms like JP Morgan, those folks consider a potential 50% drop scenario. JP Morgan's been wrong. I'm not 100% certain that would ever happen. I'm very, I would put a low probability on that, my view. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at on the entry points. I still hold no positions in the graph. I'm hoping to get a piece. If you got a piece, long term, this thing's a no-brainer. And I think it's I think you're sitting on a very good product. I mean, remember why you invest in the graph. You invest in the graph because it's a part of a critical piece of infrastructure. speeds up the development to the blockchain, and in addition, gives you very speedy access to data. And that's exactly what we want. We want to find those plays that are more infrastructure. I love the ones that are application based. There's plenty of those, like Aave and you know Uniswap. There are plenty of nice, cool applications out there too. I'm currently covering primarily the infrastructure because I expect and anticipate, larger and larger technology teams building out, future state applications. This is a competitive, the decentral environment is kind of a competitor to the cloud environment. And I think that as time goes on and we get better encryption capabilities on the public blockchains, I think the cloud slowly goes away. I wouldn't say it completely goes away, but certainly there's a little bit of competition now between this new fintech slash decentral build out, decentralized environment build out that is taking form. And I think it's very, very encouraging if you're in the infrastructure space in the decentralized blockchain technology. So the graph is one I cover, which I like. New Cipher is another one I cover, which I like. I like these two very, very well. They are core to decentralized blockchain development, and I can't wait to get a nibble on the graph, and we'll see how things go. Anyway, I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.